My beloved child, when a new season appears on the timeline of life, many people see only the changing of days and months. But I want you to learn to look deeper, for there are seasons in life when it is not only the calendar on the wall that turns to a new page, but the soul itself is invited to step into a deeper dimension of knowing me. What I want to speak to you today is not meant to plant anxiety in your heart about the future, but to awaken spiritual vigilance within you. For those who walk closely with me will not live in fear before the changes around them, but in the peace of those who know that their Father is still seated upon the throne and reigns over all. My beloved child, there have been prayers you sowed in tears that seemed as though no one had heard them. There have been nights when you lifted your eyes to heaven and wondered whether I was truly at work. But I want you to know that not one cry of your heart has been lost in eternity. There are seeds of faith quietly sprouting beneath the surface. Though your eyes have not yet seen them, there are doors being prepared that, for now, still remain closed. And there are answers already on their way. Even though all you can see at this moment is waiting, as it is written, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, though it delays. Wait for it, because it will surely come. What I am doing in this season begins within, before it is revealed outwardly. I am stirring the things that have fallen asleep in your heart. I am awakening dreams that were once buried beneath the dust of disappointment. I am touching areas you once thought would never change. Do not be surprised if you feel something moving within your spirit. Do not rush to look for spectacular signs, for many times, my greatest work begins like a small seed. The kingdom of heaven is like leaven hidden in flour, quiet and unseen, yet transforming the whole lump from within. Remember the story of Samuel when he was still a young boy serving in the tabernacle. In the middle of the night, he heard a voice calling him, yet he did not recognize that it was me. He thought it was the voice of Eli the priest. Only after listening again and again did he understand that I was the one calling him. My child, many times I am speaking to you in the same way, not through thunderous sounds that shake the heavens and the earth, but through gentle promptings within your soul, through a conviction that grows clearer with time, through a peace that cannot be explained. Those who know how to listen will recognize my voice among countless other voices. My beloved child, there will be things in your life that begin to change. Some relationships will no longer fit the place where I am leading you. Some old thoughts must be replaced by truth. Some habits that once felt familiar no longer help you mature. Do not see these changes as losses. See them as the work of the gardener pruning the branches so they may bear more fruit. For as I have spoken, every branch that bears fruit he prunes, that it may bear more fruit. Pruning is not a sign of abandonment, it is evidence of care. When some doors close, do not quickly assume that I am against you. There are doors that, if opened, would slow you down on your journey. There are opportunities that may look appealing but do not belong to the purpose I have prepared for you. Therefore, sometimes my grace does not appear in the form of giving, but in the form of holding back. Sometimes what I protect you from is greater than what I am preparing to give you. Learn to trust me, even when you do not yet understand every reason. My beloved child, do not allow a troubled and shifting world to trouble your heart. When the disciples saw the storm rise upon the sea, they thought they were about to be swallowed by the waves. Yet I was still in the boat with them. What made them safe was not the calmness of the sea, but my presence. It is the same today. I do not promise that every circumstance will always be easy, but I promise that I will not leave you. If I led you through difficult seasons before, I will also lead you through this present season. If I kept you through the darkest nights, I will also bring you into the dawn at the appointed time. My child, learn to look at change and upheaval through the eyes of faith. Sometimes what is collapsing is not the foundation, but the walls of limitation that have confined you for too long. Sometimes what is ending is not the promise, but the things that have hindered the promise from being fulfilled. Remember Joshua and the people of Israel before the city of Jericho. The wall they saw looked like an obstacle impossible to overcome. But in my eyes, it was only a temporary structure waiting for the appointed moment to fall. What you call impossible today may become your testimony tomorrow. My beloved child, do not run after the panic of the crowd. Do not allow the noise of the world to drown out my whisper. Spend time in the secret place. Let my word nourish your mind. Let my Holy Spirit renew your faith. For the one who is rooted in me will not be carried away by the winds of change. Like a tree planted by streams of water, even when the season of drought comes, it will not cease to bear fruit. I have not called you to live in fear of the future. I have called you to live in preparation. Not preparation by storing up anxiety, but by drawing nearer to me. Not preparation by trying to predict everything that will happen, but by strengthening your faith each day. For the one who walks with me does not need to know every detail ahead. They only need to know that the one who leads the way is faithful. Therefore, as you step into this new season, walk with courage. Walk with your eyes lifted toward heaven rather than fixed on the waves beneath your feet. Walk as one who knows that you are loved, protected, and guided. And then you will realize that the greatest thing I am doing is not merely changing the circumstances around you, but transforming you into someone who can carry the light of heaven into a world that needs hope more than ever before. I know there are days when you wake up with a feeling you cannot quite name. It is not a pain that others can see. It is not a clear event unfolding before your eyes. Yet deep within your heart, something is stirring, moving, and making you no longer feel comfortable with what once felt familiar. My child, do not be too quick to call it unrest. Many times, what you call pressure is actually the movement of grace. It is the moment when I am drawing you out of a narrow place and into a wider space. It is the moment when your soul begins to recognize that it was created for far more than what your present circumstances can contain. There are seasons when I allow you to remain still so that your roots may grow deep. But there are also seasons when I call you to rise and move forward. The greatest danger is not failure. The greatest danger is remaining too long in a place I have already told you to leave. For a place that was once a refuge can become a prison if you refuse to keep moving. That is why, if lately you have felt dissatisfied with old patterns, if the things that once fulfilled you no longer seem enough, do not be afraid. It may be a sign that I am expanding your vision. I am preparing you for a new chapter that you cannot yet fully see. My beloved child, many times you pray for change, but when change arrives in the form of pruning, you become confused. You expect a new door to open immediately, yet I begin by closing old doors. You expect promotion, yet I lead you through lessons in humility. You expect clarity, yet I teach you to walk by faith. Remember that not every answer arrives in the form you anticipate. Many times, what I call a blessing first appears as an interruption. Remember Joseph. If viewed through natural eyes, many would have thought his life was moving in the wrong direction. From a dream to a pit, from a pit to slavery, from slavery to prison. Yet every step that seemed like a setback became a stone in the pathway leading him to the place I had appointed for him. What made Joseph a ruler was not the throne he eventually sat upon. It began in the years when I was quietly preparing him in the shadows. My child, do not judge my work solely by your present circumstances. I see the ending from the beginning, while you are seeing only a small portion of the picture. During this season, you may also notice that certain people are gradually leaving your journey. That may bring pain to your heart. Relationships that were once very close may no longer be the same. Conversations may become less frequent. Connections that once seemed important may grow distant. But do not be quick to call it loss. Many times, I am tending the garden in preparation for a new season of blooming. Not everyone who walks with you in one season is called to walk with you in every season. Even Jesus had different circles of relationships. There were the crowds who followed him. There were the 70 disciples he sent out. There were the 12 apostles who walked closely beside him. And there were moments when only 3 were permitted to enter deeper places with him. This was not because he loved some more than others, but because each person had a different role within the plan of God. In the same way, I am teaching you that not everyone is meant to enter the deepest places of your soul. Some things I entrust only to those I have specifically chosen to help carry them alongside you. Therefore, when a door closes, do not sit before it forever in regret. Lift up your eyes and seek what I am opening ahead of you. As it is written in Revelation, what I open, no one can shut, and what I shut, no one can open. If I close a door, it is not because I desire to take something good away from you. It is because I desire to lead you to something better. What I have prepared is always greater than what you are trying to hold on to. My beloved child, I also want to warn you about something. In seasons of transition, the noise often becomes louder. Conflicting opinions will arise. Negative words will seek to slip into your mind. The world constantly tries to pull your eyes away from me and direct them toward fear. It wants you to live by what others say rather than by what I have spoken. But remember this, the loudest voice is not always the truest voice. When the people of Israel stood before the Red Sea, their circumstances declared that there was no way forward. The Egyptian army behind them declared that they would be destroyed. Fear declared that everything was over. But my voice declared something different. Go forward. And when they chose to believe my word more than what their eyes could see, the sea parted before them. My child, many spiritual victories do not begin when circumstances change. They begin when you choose to believe my word above every other voice. Therefore, keep your mind in peace. Do not feed fear by continually immersing yourself in the noise of the world. Feed your faith with my living word. Spend more time in my presence than in the things that trouble your heart. For whatever you continually listen to will eventually shape the way you think. And what you think will influence the way you walk. My beloved child, I have not called you to live by news reports, predictions, or panic. I have called you to live by my promises. Heaven and earth may be shaken. Circumstances may change. Things that once appeared secure in the eyes of people may be shaken. Yet my word stands forever. As it is written, heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. So, be courageous and keep moving forward. Do not fear what I am removing. Do not fear what is changing. Do not fear the doors that are closing. Remember that the one who holds your future is the same one who is holding your hand today. And if I am the one leading the way, you do not need to know every turn that lies ahead. You only need to know that I am faithful. I have never abandoned you in previous seasons, and I will not abandon you in the new season that is opening before you now. My beloved child, there are days when you look back on the road you have traveled and see only missteps, decisions that still fill your heart with regret, and scars that time itself seems unable to erase. You wonder whether the things that have been broken can ever be restored. You look at the empty spaces in your life and assume they will remain empty forever. But today, I want you to lift up your head and see through the eyes of faith rather than through the eyes of disappointment. For what I see in you is not the wounded places. What I see is a story that is still being written by the hand of the one who never abandons the work he has begun. Do not allow your past to become the narrator of your future. Your failures do not have the authority to define who you are. The mistakes you made do not possess the power to determine who you will become. Only I hold the complete blueprint of your life. Only I can see the entire picture while you stand before only a small corner of it. There are things that look like ruins today. Yet in my hands, they are the materials for a new creation. There are chapters that seem to have ended in sorrow, but to me they are merely pages being turned to begin a more glorious chapter. Remember what I spoke through the prophet Isaiah. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? I am the God of new beginnings. I am not limited by what happened yesterday. I am not restrained by the failures that still linger in your memory. While you see ashes, I see beauty taking shape. While you see broken pieces, I see a masterpiece that only needs more time to be completed. Therefore, do not rush to draw conclusions about your story while I have not yet written the final line. My beloved child, I want to remind you once again of the Shunammite woman, not merely so that you remember the miracle, but so that you understand her heart. She did not serve the prophet Elisha in order to gain a blessing. She was not seeking a reward. She simply opened her heart to the things that belonged to me. In that sincerity, I saw what she never dared to speak aloud. There were desires she had buried so deeply that she no longer dared to hope for them. There were dreams she believed were too late to ever come true. But I saw them all, and I did far beyond what she could have asked for. Then came the day when the son who had been given to her fell down, and life seemed to leave him. Suddenly everything became dark again. From a human perspective, many would have assumed the story ended in loss. But I am not merely the God who gives. I am also the God who restores. When all hope appeared to have faded away, I breathed life back into that situation. It was not only to save a child, it was to reveal that my power is greater than every ending human eyes can see. My child, in the same way, there are things in your life that you have quietly placed in the drawer of memory and labeled impossible. There are prayers you no longer mention because you are afraid of being disappointed again. There are dreams that once set your heart on fire but now exist only as distant names in your mind. Yet, I want you to know that if something truly belongs within my good and perfect will, time cannot kill it. Circumstances cannot erase it. Delay cannot destroy it. What I have ordained will stand firm by my own power. I know there have been nights when you cried and no one knew. There have been moments when all you could do was sit in silence because you no longer had words left to pray. Yet even then, I was there. I do not only hear the words that are spoken, I understand the things that have not yet found expression. I hear the sighs of your soul. I see every tear before it falls from your eyes. As it is written, you have collected my tears in your bottle. If I preserve every tear you have shed, how could I ever forget the things that have caused you pain? Therefore, do not despise seasons of waiting. Many times, what you call a delay is actually the season in which I am working most deeply. A seed does not die because it lies beneath the soil. It is preparing for new life. A river does not disappear because it flows underground. It is finding its path to emerge with greater strength. In the same way, your prayers do not vanish in silence. They are being kept by me and worked upon in ways that you cannot yet see. Remember Joseph. There were years when he seemed forgotten in prison, yet I had never forgotten him. Every day in the darkness was bringing him closer to the palace. Remember Lazarus. When everyone believed it was too late because the tomb had already been sealed, I arrived and called him out. Remember Sarah. When age seemed to close every natural door of hope, I caused my promise to blossom. These stories do not belong only to the past. They stand as testimonies that I am the same God yesterday, today, and forever. My beloved child, I do not promise that everything you have lost will return in exactly the same form, but I do promise that nothing entrusted into my hands will ever become meaningless. I can restore. I can renew. I can bring forth goodness from places where others see only ashes. And many times, what I prepare is even more beautiful than what you once lost. For I do not merely return what was taken away, I add grace, wisdom, and depth that can only be formed through a journey walked with me. So today, lay down the judgments you have spoken over your own life. Stop calling dead the things that I am healing. Stop believing that your story has already ended. For I am still working. I am still writing. I am still planting light into the darkest places. And the day will come when you look back on everything you have endured and realize that not one tear was wasted. Not one prayer was forgotten. And not one broken piece lay beyond my ability to restore. Then you will understand that the greatest miracle was not that I removed every sorrow from your path, but that I transformed those very sorrows into the foundation for the glory I had prepared beforehand for your life. My beloved child, let your heart become still for a little while longer, for there are things I want you to understand, not merely with your mind, but through a deep awareness within your soul. The days ahead will not be like the days you have already walked through. Not because circumstances will suddenly become perfect, not because you will never face challenges again, but because you are being led into a new level of maturity and faith, where you no longer walk according to what your eyes can see, but according to the faithfulness of the one who holds your future. Never think that the doors I open in your life are rewards for your perfection. If every good thing depended upon your worthiness, no one would be qualified to stand in the light of grace. What I accomplish in your life flows from my mercy and from the promises I have spoken. As it is written, if we are faithless, he remains faithful, for he cannot deny himself. My faithfulness is the rock beneath your feet. My love is the bridge that carries you across the gaps your own strength could never fill. I know there have been times when you walked forward without seeing the way clearly. You looked ahead and saw only a thick fog. You prayed for a map, but I gave you a single step. You asked to see the entire road, but I illuminated only the path directly before you. That was not because I wanted to make things difficult for you. It was because I was teaching you something many people never learn, to trust the one who leads more than to depend upon the road itself. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. A lamp does not illuminate the entire journey. It gives enough light for the next step. And that next step is always enough when you walk with me. There are things in your past that have caused you to believe your life has been marked by delays. There were dreams that took longer than you expected. There were doors that seemed ready to open, only to close again. But today I want you to see everything through new eyes. What you call delay is often divine arrangement. What you call postponement is often protection. A wise farmer does not harvest fruit while it is still unripe. A wise builder does not place a roof upon a house before the foundation is complete. I work in the same way. I am not only preparing what I promised for you, I am also preparing you for what I promised. Remember the story of Esther. To many people, the events that led her into the palace appeared to be nothing more than a series of coincidences. Yet I was quietly orchestrating every detail. When the appointed time arrived, everyone understood that she had been placed in that position to save an entire people. My beloved child, there are also things in your life that currently seem scattered like unfinished pieces of a puzzle. You do not yet understand why you met certain people. You do not yet understand why a particular door was closed. You do not yet understand why you had to travel certain winding paths. But I see the completed picture. And when my timing comes, the things that once confused you will come together with a precision that will leave you amazed. There is a spiritual principle I want you to remember. I am not concerned only with your destination. I am also concerned with the people who will be touched through your journey. Your life is not merely your own story. What I do within you will become a blessing to many others. There are souls waiting for your obedience. There are hearts that need the testimony only you can share. There are doors that will open for others because you first chose to walk faithfully through the doors I entrusted to you. Remember Noah. He did not build the ark simply to save himself. When I instructed him to prepare, I was thinking about generations that would be preserved through his obedience. Had he looked only at his own personal benefit, he might have given up long before the work was finished. But he understood that what I do is always greater than one individual. In the same way, there are reasons behind your season of waiting that you cannot yet fully see. I am not only preparing blessings for you, I am preparing divine encounters, acts of rescue, opportunities for healing, and lives that will be transformed through what I am about to do in and through you. Therefore, when you look back upon the years behind you, do not call them wasted years. No season is ever wasted in my hands. The days when you learned patience produced steadfastness. The days when you learned trust built faith. The days when you learned to wait expanded your capacity to receive. And now all those lessons are coming together to prepare you for a new season of your journey.